off Tybee and join us for a Discovery Cruise for our catch of the day.
Hi, I'm Erin McNaught, the Environmental Education Program Coordinator here at the Bird and 4-H Center on Tybee Island. For our catch of the day, we're going to go trawling, but you can't overlook the other forms of recreational and commercial fishing by either seine netting, or dip netting, crab traps, even cast nets, or of course the classic form of fishing, not fishing. For today's Discovery Cruise, we have traveled off Tybee to Turner Creek over on Wilmington Island. Wilmington Island is a back island, and it's a buffer island between a barrier island like Tybee Island and inland savanna. And back islands don't have beaches, and that's why Barrier Island has the salt marsh and the beach, making it a barrier island. As we explore Turner Creek, a tidal creek today, on our Discovery Cruise for our catch of the day, we're going to be joined by Captain Mike and Captain Buddy.
About 75% of our seafood is nursery in the marsh. So with that, this place is just rich with sea life, and everybody comes to their meals here. Trawling is a fishing technique used by both scientists and commercial fisheries. We have a little test trawl here. It's called an auto trawl. And I'm going to talk a little bit about it and show you the different parts of it. And then a little bit later, we will deploy it and see if we might be able to catch something that lives down below. But first of all, let's look at the different parts of the net. It's what they call the bag. And the bag has a little collection area, and this is where it's tied off. And we tie it off because if we don't tie it off, we don't catch anything. Everything goes right through it. So we have it tied off here, and that'll be the end of the net. This is a very part for the net. It's the front of the net. So the front of the net basically has floats on the top, and those floats will hold the net up in the water. And then on the very bottom of the net, we have these weights. These weights will go across the bottom, and the net will be arched on the top, and then have the weights go across and being pulled through the waterway. And what keep it in its shape, we have these things called doors. And these doors are actually like when you stick your hand, I say you're not supposed to do this, but when you stick your hand on a car and you can feel that air pressure on it, it'll actually move it outward. So we have the doors being pulled by the line, holding the net outward, with the little floats across the top and the weights going across the bottom. And what it'll do, it'll actually mimic almost what the front of the boat looks like, an arched top, and then the bottom being pulled through. So we're going to be pulling the net, and then hopefully, as it goes across the bottom, little sea creatures will jump up, and then they'll be scooped up in the net, and then we'll bring it aboard and we'll see what we can find.
Animal fact! So one of the things that we actually got on our trawl today are sea squirts. They actually start off having a backbone, and as they go through their life cycle, they lose their backbone. And so, believe it or not, these guys are in the chordate family, having a backbone. They get their name sea squirts because they squirt. Alright, here, one of the fish we call is a silver sign. You can see it gets its name, so it has the silver lateral line going down it. Fish are vertebrates because they have a backbone. This is a white shrimp. You can tell by the green tail. You can also see, if you can get up close, they have a horn for their prey. I like to call them the unicorns of the sea. Also found in our Charleston today, marine debris. This is a golf ball in the nets for me. Stone crabs, though they are often sought for the meat in their claws, you're only permitted to take one claw at a time. After many molts, they will regenerate the claw back, but you definitely want to make sure you leave a stone crab with one claw for survival.
Well, this is a soft shell crab, and see, go ahead and pin See how she's flexible. Usually, and they said they're exoskeletons, so there's skeletons on the outside. So when they get, of course, she doesn't have too much pitch. Ow! I'm just kidding. They'll open up right back here, and they'll pull out of their shell. The shell will open up, and they'll be just as soft as you stand for a few hours, and then they harden right back up. Usually in the spring, and I'm going to guess when the water temperature gets about 65, close to 70, that's when they all start shedding at the same time.
This is a sponge, also in the Porphyria family, meaning pore bearing with holes. Sponges are often used by scientists for studying reaggregation, and that is where they literally will blend up sponges and they will see and test how quickly and how well they developed and can literally regenerate back together into a functioning organism. So reaggregation is the study of cells assembling back together. Porphyria are also the simplest of all animals, and that is correct. This is an animal, not a plant. They have no nervous systems, tissues, or organs. Thanks for joining us again for this week's Tuesdays Off Tybee for our catch of the day.